You made it. Week 2, guys, week 2. And this one is super important. I'm going to probably say that about each week, but you'll understand why. This week is called thoughts. And actually, if I'm going to be honest, this week we're going to split into 2 weeks because I really want to talk about thoughts and why they're so important to setting our goals and our dreams and making them into reality. And so we're going to talk about thoughts. First half is going to be about what happens when you don't expect it. Like it's kind of like instinctual, the instinct, which means it's naturally occurring. It happens to everyone. You have very little control over this part. I want you to really understand that because there are some things you can do to maybe make sure that that control that you don't have can still have a little sense of predictability, okay? So there's some things I'm gonna give you that you can help make your life a little more predictable. The second week, which that's next week, we're gonna talk about the things you can control. So this week, what you can't control. Next week, what you can control. All right, so we're just gonna dive right in with my story because I always share stuff because you're always sharing stuff, right? Right? You shared something, especially from last week when I asked you to. You did that? Yeah, okay. So when I was younger, and by younger, I mean maybe I was a little closer to your age, I had a lot of things on my plate. I was super active in school with music. I was on a basketball team, I was on a softball team, and I tried to take as many AP courses as possible because, like I told you, I wanted to become a doctor, and that was the only thing I ever wanted to do, and I only wanted to work towards that. So I was constantly trying to make myself appear to potential colleges as the perfect student. Well, some of the things that kind of get in the way of being a perfect student can be like housework. Oh, I hated housework so much. And every single day I'd come home from school and I'd be like, this is what I'm gonna do. My homework, I'm gonna practice music, and then I have basketball practice later. So I was super busy. I had scheduled out my life to a T. It wasn't very healthy, but that led to some conflicts in my home. Conflicts with my family members. I have one brother, very small family. It's me and him. It's been me and him ever since the beginning. And to this day, we are super close. We always visit each other. We both have kids. We spend lots of quality time together and we dream together. And he is so amazing. He's a great husband to his wife, a great daddy to his kids. And I think honestly, he is probably one of the best brothers out there. I am totally blessed to have him as my brother. But I didn't appreciate him like that always. So one day, my mom wrote a note as we entered the home. I found it after school and it said, Raquel and Josh, that's his name. Oops, I said his name. Raquel and Josh, make sure that you clean the house. And these are the tasks that I need you to do. Okay, so there was a big list. One of them was to sweep the front room floor. And now our front room was pretty large, and that's where our TV was, that's where my brother's PlayStation was, and we were always in there hanging out, eating food, just having fun, but that meant it get kind of messy. So it was my intention to get through these chores as quickly as possible. Well, I'm 2 years older than my brother, so I was pretty certain that that made me the boss. And I started to notice that he wasn't doing what my mom had told us. I mean, it was pretty clear: clean the house, sweep, dust, do the dishes. And I got really frustrated. I remember pulling the broom out and starting to sweep in front of the television where he was playing PlayStation and thinking, I cannot believe this guy. He is not helping me. I have things to do. I have goals to achieve, and I do not have time for this. And so I started just sweeping right in front of the TV, trying to irritate him. And so as I'm sweeping, he gets irritated. He starts yelling at me, telling me to get out of the way. I start yelling back at him. Finally, he gets really frustrated and walks towards me where his PlayStation was, and he goes to, I think, maybe shut it off. Maybe I had finally convinced him, but I had gone into a blind rage. And I don't even know what he was doing, but all I know is that in the end, I had the broom up and I was smacking him with the broom like a crazy person. It was terrible. I think it was one of the most defining moments of my life that I have this hidden anger inside me that can erupt in very vicious ways. I had no idea that I had that kind of anger in me. And the next thing I know, he's standing up now. Now, my brother's 2 years younger than me, but at this time we're teenagers and he is growing tall. He is a big guy now. And I realized, what have I done? He is so tall. This is a man. This isn't a boy anymore. And he could totally just deck me if he wanted to. But he didn't, because he's a good person and has more control at that time over his emotions than I did. He walked away and he left for several hours, which worried me like crazy, and I was crying. When he finally came home, I had to admit that I was in the wrong. The entire thing was all my fault. There was nothing that he did wrong. It was all my fault. What I'm sharing this story for you is that I think there's things in your life that can explode out of control like that. And maybe they won't affect you that much in the moment, but if it continues to happen over and over and over again, it can really put a damper on relationships, on potential opportunities, and on your dreams. So we need to navigate what's happening. I'm going to go through my story real quick and talk about what happened. The first thing that happened was I was triggered. Now, we use this word a lot to talk about everything, like, oh, that triggers me, that triggers me. No, I want to explain it to you so you can apply it, not offhandedly, but very purposefully. A trigger can be an experience or a sense that you have, like you see something, you hear something, you smell something, you taste something, you feel something, or something's happening around you, and that triggers a thought. Remember, I told you we're thinking about thoughts today. So it triggers a thought in your head. That is an idea, right? A thought is an idea. And for me, in my story, my trigger was that I was feeling used. And the trigger was he wasn't helping me. So then in my head, I thought, he's using me. I am doing all the work. Then that led to the next step. So you go from your trigger to your thought to your emotion. And your emotion is how you feel. Well, my thought of I am being used made me go into a blind rage. And it's something that is, emotions are important because they're like a natural instinct to protect ourselves from danger or maybe help us figure out how to navigate situations. But sometimes emotions can take over. And that's where we need to identify is the emotion that we're feeling. You need to go, I am feeling mad because he is not helping. I do not need to go into a blind rage. And I'm going to tell you how to do that. So the next thing that happens is our body response now. For me, when I get angry, I know that I start breathing kind of fast and I kind of maybe tense my arms up because I've felt it before, like strain on my arms. My arms should be bigger, they're not, because I feel like that is where all my tension goes, is to my arms and my shoulders. Other people, you might feel it other places, but that's where it goes for me. So when you start feeling those intense emotions, if you can for a moment, try to remove yourself from the situation and start to feel and think about how your body feels. You might be able to do that right now if you think back to an intense moment from the past. Now, up to this point, I'm not even talking about the part where I hit him. What I am talking about is what I can't control. So the trigger is something going to happen automatically. It's going to happen around us all the time. Triggers are smells, sounds, sights, and you can't control your environment perfectly, especially in the greater world outside of your bedroom or outside of whatever space it is you have to yourself. Then you have thoughts, and those things are constant. They happen all the time. Thoughts are what make us human. They make us special. So we have our thoughts. That's fine. You can have thoughts. And then you feel emotions. Emotions are natural instincts. They're what protect us. They're what brings us joy or brings us anger or sadness. That's natural. You can't do away with emotions. Your body needs them to survive this world. And then you have response, and that's what happens to your body based off those emotions. Okay, you cannot control any of these things. You can't even control the trigger, okay? Not typically. at least. But there are some things that you can control. And those things are what we're going to talk about next week, okay? But right now, I want to talk about your environment and the things that might be triggering you. I want you to start thinking about what makes me mad during my day, what makes me sad, and what brings me joy. Because those are the typical things that can detract us or push us towards reaching our goals. Okay, so that's what I want you to start thinking about. What are the triggers or the moments that bring me to those emotions that are powerful, those powerful emotions? Now, I said you can't really control your triggers, but there are some things you can do. If you are feeling stressed, or maybe it's been a difficult day, or maybe you need to be energized, there are things that you can do. You could listen to upbeat music, or you can listen to quiet music, or you can maybe get your favorite hoodie on or your favorite blanket if you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed and you just need some comfort. Those are triggers too. Your body is sensing something and it's bringing thoughts of comfort or positivity or energy or happiness. So you can control some positive triggers, and you should, and that's called self-care, okay? So we hear that word a lot, self-care, and it's something that you're the only one who can do it, okay? So our moms, or maybe our aunties, or maybe a friend can, from time to time, show us love and care, but you're in charge of it a majority of the time. So make sure you're doing that. Make sure you're providing a space that has positive triggers. And if you have a bedroom, then make it your space. If you don't have a bedroom because you share a room, that's fine. Make your bed your positive space, and make your headphones only put positive things into your ears if that's how you can get quiet and solace for a moment. All right, so that was our thought model for the week. I'm going to talk to you guys one-on-one about what those potential negative triggers are and what those positive triggers are. As we're thinking about our goals, I want you to kind of relate that to whatever you're working on. Remember, we did our grading ourselves, so let's go back. If it's a physical thing that you're trying to get physically healthy, think about triggers that might be deterring you from physical health. If it's social health, what's causing you to be not successful socially, okay? So start thinking about those triggers. Connect with me this week. Share some stuff when I'm posting. You guys, I'm so excited that we're on to week 3 now. You did it. Week 3 is coming fast. I can't wait to talk to you.